everyone, we're back. Hopefully you haven't got tired of hearing our voices.
I'm tired of listening to my voices when I'm like editing all these things. I am annoying. So, with that said, we're going to try to put together a 10 to 15 minute tutorial video on the kettlebell swing. So the kettlebell swing is our foundation kettlebell movement. It's actually called the center of the kettlebell universe, because when you know how to do a good and safe swing, you're pretty much going to be able to do your conditioning, your power work, your strength work, and you can use a small bell and get a big bang for your buck. So we're going to start our kettlebell tutorial with the hip hinge. Now, everybody that trains here has gone through this movement in one way, shape, or form, but what Mari's going to do is stand right over the kettlebell with her ankle bones in line. She's going to do a few repetitions facing the camera, and then I'm going to have her turn to a profile view so that you can see what's going on with her back. So feet are going to be about hip width apart. Okay, you want enough space for the kettlebell to travel between your legs without you having to bow your knees out or without feeling like your knees are going to hit it. Okay? She's going to drive her hips back, so chop at the hips and push her hips back. Okay? She's not going to lift the bell, she's just going to touch it and then stand up. And she's going to drive her hips back, touch, and then stand up. She's going to do about 3 more reps like that at her own pace, and what she's focusing on is moving her hips back. So if we had a 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock as you guys watch, she's going to drive her hips back to the 3 o'clock. Okay? It is not a squat where she's coming down to the ground and her hips are moving down. It is a hip hinge where her hips are moving back. And so as you can see, she's got a really neutral spine. What we have been seeing a lot of is people overarching, so the chest coming back. You see how her back moved and opened up. Okay? An easy way for you to kind of give yourself a reminder of not feeling that is to put one hand on your chest and one hand on your stomach. And as you hip hinge, those hands should stay the same distance. It should not increase. All right, next thing we're going to discuss is lat activation. So Mari's going to turn another 90 degrees so that she's facing you guys. Keeping her same foot position, what she's going to do is reach for her feet with her fingertips as hard as she can, and then she's going to act like there's a bug on her thigh and she's going to try to smash it. Now when you do that, you should feel a pretty significant amount of muscle activation in this region here, and that's your lat. Now the reason your lats are so important, I'm going to have Mari turn again, okay, is your lats start here and then attach down here at your lower back. So when you activate them, they act as a lower back stabilizer. So it's really important that we use that movement in the kettlebell swing to keep us safe. Now, the next thing we're going to do to keep ourselves safe is work on our breathing. Now, you can either count your reps out really, really loud, okay, or you can do a power breath. Now, a power breath sounds like a T with a bunch of S's after it. So it's a, okay? So now how we feel that is we're going to take our fingers and we're going to put them right underneath our ribs. We're going to take a sharp inhale through our nose, and then we're going to do a series of short exhales with T and S's. Okay? Each time you do that little short power breath, you're going to feel your abs contract, and when we use that in the swing in conjunction with lat activation, we're going to be able to keep our lower back really, really safe, and we're going to get a lot of benefit from the movement, and we're going to feel more powerful when we do it as well. All right, so now we're going to combine them. So we're going to combine that hip hinge, we're going to combine the lat activation, and we're going to combine the breathing, and this is something that you can practice anywhere you want and look like a super weirdo, but you're going to be the strong one. Okay, so Mari's going to reach down for her toes with her hands. She's going to drive her hips back as she inhales, and then she's going to stand up quickly and that hard exhale. Good. So now we're going to rotate 90 degrees so that you guys can see it from a profile. Okay. She's going to reach for the ground, try to recreate that feeling in your armpits. Breathe in, and then stand up. And you're just going to do repetitions of that, 3 to 5. There you go. Okay. Now it seems weird, but it's really, really going to help you feel what your torso, how rigid your torso should be as you're hip hinging and as you're swinging. All right?
I'm getting tired just from doing that, and I didn't have a bell.
All right, so how tight you squeeze your body and how hard you engage your body is really where you're going to get the benefit from a kettlebell swing. Like I said, you can take a light weight and contract your body really, really hard and get a ton of bang for your buck. All right, so that's our first part of the tutorial. Hopefully you have practiced our hinging, our lat activation, that weird funky power breathing, and then also try to combine them all. What we're going to do now is go through a quick progression. We're going to take you from the breathing with the hip hinging with lat activation and breathing, all the way through to doing actual kettlebell swings. Now, for you, when you're practicing this at home, You can set a timer for 20 minutes and do each of these for 5 to 10 reps. But just make sure that you don't feel any pain and you stop where you feel like you should stop. So if you're thinking like, hey, this doesn't feel right, stop there. You don't have to go through all the progressions, but if you're capable and you want to kind of slowly build your skill in this movement, go through them all and just make sure that you're giving yourself adequate amount of time to rest, because you can't really learn anything if you're really, really tired. All right, so Madi is going to start with her hinging with lat activation and breathing. So she's reaching for the ground, she's trying to squeeze her thighs, breathing in as she hinges back, hard breath out as she stands up, reaching back and stand up tall, reach back and stand up tall. Now each rep we're going to try to activate a different part of our body. So as she stands up, she's going to really try to cramp her quads. She's going to hip hinge back again, cramp quads and butt cheeks at the same time, reach back, and we're going quads, butt cheeks, and abs real hard. Now try to put them all together, and that's where the skill comes in. Can you turn all your muscles of your body on at the same time? Good. Now we're going to give Madi a chance to shake that out, because honestly, it gets really tiring. Okay? We're going to move down into our kettlebell swings, which would be our kettlebell deadlifts, which would be our next progression to this. She's going to line up her ankle bones with the handle of the kettlebell. Right? She's going to turn her lats on, but without reaching for the ground. All right? So she's just going to try to recreate that feeling of dropping the shoulder down into her body. So she's going to hip hinge back. Okay, she's going to grab the handle of the kettlebell and she's going to activate her lats, but without overarching her back. And she's going to use her power breathing when she gets to the top. So it's breathing in, guiding the bell towards your heels, breathing out with that good power breath when she stands up. And then we're going to try to do all the same things we did before. Quads, glutes, and abs, all locked in, all really tight. Okay, the tighter you make your body, the more muscles you're going to contract, the more calories you're going to burn. So again, it's that double-edged sword of being powerful and strong, but then also getting that cardio and calorie burn that we all want. Okay? Gonna do 2 more reps because I'm not doing it.
Oh my god, I'm so tired. Just kidding.
One more. Good. And then she's gonna put it down and she's gonna shake it out. Okay. Now we're gonna move to our next kettlebell swing progression. We have to start getting comfortable moving the bell with our arms to get it to our hips, which are the primary engine of a swing. Okay, so she's going to take a foot-length step back. So what she's going to do is put her big toe up against the kettlebell and then line her other big toe up with her heel. And that should give you the right amount of distance. Now, this is an individual kind of position, so you're going to have to play around with it a little bit, but this is a great starting point to get you where you kind of need to be. She's going to hip hinge down.
I like to remind people that if you feel like you're reaching right here, some of us have longer arms, longer legs, feet length is different. If you feel like you're here, you want to connect your shoulders back into your body. So you can be here, and basically I just turned my lats on. That pulled the bell into the position that I need to be at. So that's another way you can do it as well.
If you feel like your shoulders are disconnected and up by your ears, then that whole first thing we covered in the very beginning of driving our fingertips towards our feet, then that lat's not doing its job, and we're leaving a big hole in our lower back so that we can potentially get injured. Okay, so we want to make sure we're adjusting that position correctly. So she's got her feet in a good spot. Boom. I'm robotic when I lift. I try to do the same steps over and over and over again. So she's going to hip hinge back. She's going to grab the handle of the kettlebell with a loose grip. Now that's very important. If you grip tightly, you're going to want to use your arms. Here we're trying to use just our lats. So it's a loose grip. The handle of the kettlebell should form a straight line with Madi's arm. She doesn't want to over tilt it because then it's going to whip back and hit her somewhere you don't want to be hit. And you don't want to leave it straight because then the first part of your movement is going to be tilting it and it kind of disconnects your shoulders. So we're going to do what hike passes. So she's going to take her arms and she's going to put her wrist bones into her groins. She's going to hike the bell back and then skip a couple steps.
Sorry.
Because we're just doing hike passes. And I'm so glad my head wasn't in the way there.
I paid attention.
So we're just going to hike back using her lats and then let the bell come back down to the ground. So Madi's going to tighten up her body so that there's no movement there. And she's going to hike the bell back and come back. There you go. Breathe in. Good. You just breathe in when we hike back. Good. We'll do a couple more reps. I'm so glad I'm not the one doing the swings right now. This is tiring.
Okay, that was more than a couple. More than a
Good.
couple.
I'll do a few more. So now I'm just joking. So shake it out. So now the high
Legs
pass.
start burning.
Yeah, the legs do burn, but what you notice, it was minimal amount of movement from Mari's body. What we're learning is to move the kettlebell without moving ourselves. This is a spot where you guys are probably going to want to pause and really work that. That should be a really comfortable movement. That should feel second nature before you progress on to the dead stop swings that are our next progression. Don't skip the high pass step. Don't say, hey, I know how to get it into my groin. There's a timing aspect that's really important. You should know kind of when that bell is changing directions, when it's connecting to your hips, because that's when we're going to start to drive and stand up and really use our power.
I like to tell people record yourself. One thing that a lot of people don't know that they're doing in the hike pass is that they let their hips come up. You almost want to feel like the ceiling has come a little closer to your body. When you hike back, you want to get tense enough so that that bell movement doesn't make your hips go up.
And that brings up a really great point is, let's come down to the bell, Mike. We want our shoulders above our hips and our hips above our knees. We do not want our shoulders in line with our hips or our hips in line with our knees. You're trying to create a wedge, which is a very, very powerful position because that's what's going to let you use your hips and be explosive, okay? So next thing, we're going to do dead stop swings, but I'm going to stand here so that mine doesn't start yet. We're going to go for like a 40% dead stop swing, which should put the bell around our hip level. A 60% of our strength dead stop swing, which should put the bell in between our belly button and our sternum. And then like a 70 to 80% dead stop swing, which should put the bell right about our chest level. And that's ideally the position that we want all of our swings to be in. Anything higher than that, and that kind of tells us that we're using our arms and acting on the bell with our upper body when the hips should be the main engine behind it.
So a good swing can be anywhere from about here to here. The goal is not just to get it to here. That depends on your power, what your goal is, what the purpose of the routine is for the day. It doesn't necessarily mean every single swing is supposed to be like that.
And when you're practicing, being able to dial between 40 and 80, 90, 100% of your strength is a sign of skill and it's a sign of mastery, and it's something that you guys should all be practicing. Okay? So, first one's gonna be 40, second one's gonna be 60, third swing's gonna be 80, and then we're gonna go through that twice. All right? So she's gonna hike back. Okay? Get comfortable with that hike pass position. Get comfortable with the timing. Okay? And then she's gonna start her dead stops. 40%. Good. So now we're gonna
a little higher.
Yeah, it's hard to do the 40%. There it is. Okay, and you see how she synced her breath. She breathed in as she hiked back, hard breath out as she stands up.
So my breathing is even a little less intense.
And now let's go 60%. Good. And then 80%. Good. Now you notice
That wasn't 80, sorry. Let me give that to you again.
Cool with it. Good. So you notice all her swings look the same. The only thing that she has done is play around with her strength levels, okay? So just so that you guys can see it again, we're gonna go 40, 60, and 80. 40, good. 60. Awesome, last one, 80. Good. So the only thing that Mari did differently was she stood up harder. Okay? Faster. She drove, she rooted her feet into the ground, she didn't lift with her arms, she just dug into the ground and used her hips. Now, once you get comfortable with your doing dead stops, again, you may stay at dead stop swings for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, who knows, right? But don't jump a step just to go into the next one. Really gain confidence, make sure that you know what you're doing, and then reach out to us if you have any questions. And Mari said, video yourself. Guess who you should be sending those videos to?
We're here, send them to us. Again, we want to be here to help you, and we're trying to figure out as many ways to stay connected. And everyone has a cell phone. Video yourself, send it to us.
Yeah. Now,
Very
she
easy.
thought she's getting out of it. We still have one more to go.
Oh,
so
shit.
what we're going to do is our hike passes, just for a couple. Then she's going to do a couple dead stop swings, and we're going to go into full-on continuous kettlebell swings. Now, the only difference between a dead stop swing and a two-hand swing is as the bell comes back, instead of putting it down onto the ground, you just stand back up again. Okay? And if you spend enough time doing dead stops, the two-hand swing is super easy to do. Okay? So let's show it off one at a time. So hike pass for a couple reps. Good. So you notice she's getting it into her hips, and she's not changing the position of her body. Then a couple dead stop swings. instead of guiding the bell into her hips and then parking it, all she's gonna do is guide the bell back into her hips and stand up. So it's breathe in, good, breathe in, there you go. And then you can play around with the dial, that power dial, on your own. You should be looking anywhere between 6 and 8 feet in front of you so that your head's not whipping all over the place, okay? If you start feeling any back discomfort or you're feeling like this isn't a movement you think you're doing correctly, please reach out and then notice that Mari's capable of changing the height of the bell just based on how hard she's swinging. And that 80% swing is, you can see Mari typically will swing like a 28 kilo, which is a 62 pound bell, anywhere up into a 36 to 40 kilo, which is almost 90 pounds. Now, it will let you be powerful, and you can get a lot of bang for your buck.
And this is only a 12,
That's a
so
12.
I don't need to have anything super heavy to get myself winded.
Yeah, and like we talked about in one of our strength videos, you can lock a person in a room with a single 16 kilo kettlebell, and if they understand the skill of strength, of being able to tighten their body up, they're gonna come out of that room stronger. So just make sure you're practicing your fundamentals, don't skip steps, and if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to us.